Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I am back this weekend to do sketch number 4 from our worldwide virtual crop. And we're going to be working with the Serene Waters collection again. So without further ado, let's get my workshop view into here. So that way you can see what I'm getting ready to work on. So for sketch 4, it's a single page layout and they used a series of circles coming down. And I honestly just didn't feel like cutting that many circles today. So I pulled out my embossed hexagon punch and punched out quite a few hexagons to use in place of the circles. And you'll see some of those actually are here. I picked out 3 different pages from my scraps I showed you all last night that I had left over from my sunburst crop. I also pulled out a sheet of our vellum paper that goes with this paper pack. You can see it kind of is a little wavy. Another scrap that I had left over here, along with, I'm turning this into a 2-page layout. I just thought this would look really kind of cool as a 2-pager, and I had an idea for a way to do the angled cut that I'll show you in just a minute. But I've also, this is the sheet we're going to use as our primary piece kind of going behind, and then we're going to cut some mats out of the yellow fish sheet. So first things first, let me move this. We are going to use our decorative trimmers and we are going to cut on an angle using this first track to kind of create almost like an ocean wave out of our page. I have opened up the extra cutting measure because I'm going to line it up at the 5 at the top end and then at the 3 on the bottom end. And so you have to angle your paper a little bit to make sure we get it lined up right. And then we just cut and we have our wave. And I'm going to move my blade back to the bottom. I'm going to flip over my paper and we're going to do this again on the opposite side of the page here. Again with the 5 at the top corner and then the 3 at the lower corner. So there we go. I think I got that lined up pretty close. I just knocked it. There we go. Okay. And so both of these are going to act kind of like cascading waves on our page. But then, hey, we've got this really strange extra piece here that I'm going to take and I am going to cut it in half and we're going to use this on our page as well. But first, I want to cut our mats. I want to cut 4.5 by 6.5 mats. Oops, and I've put my binder clip on, but I'm not ready for it yet because we need to cut, let's go ahead and cut this one in half. And when I measured earlier, 4 3/4 was the halfway point, but I'm going to double check it on my 0 centering ruler just to make sure that the longest point, yes, is close to 4 3/4. On the 0 centering ruler, you always can find your center. It's really fabulous. So our 4 3/4 is right around there on our large end here. You can see it at the bottom of our trimmer. So that's cut in half. And now we're going to cut our page down first to 11 inches. And I'm kind of moving along kind of quickly. Y'all can watch this on the replay again if you want to see the cuts again. But I just kind of felt like just moving things along for the virtual crop because there's a lot of projects to get to. So we have an 11-inch square, and then I'm going to add my binder clip at 7.5 inches on the side of my trimmer here. So that way I know my blade will stop at 6.5 inches because you have an inch from where your white line is where your blade hits and the end of the blade housing. I'm going to line up my sheet at 4.5 inches And I am going to go ahead and start cutting and turn to the left, line it up again at 4.5. And this is just a quick way to do 4 mats without a whole lot of muss and fuss. I'm sure you all have seen other advisors do this as well. Maybe not live, but I have seen several of them do it. I missed part of one of my cuts, so I'm just grabbing out my scissors real quick. Here's 4.5 again. And there we go. So you kind of have this little extra square in the middle. No big deal. You know, I will find a use for that scrap. Take off your binder clip. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut my fish paper. It's basically a 4-inch by 9-inch scrap I had left over. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 4 inches here. And I should have, oh, it actually was 4 by 8. So there we go. So I have 2 4 by 4 little fish squares here. And my vellum, I am going to cut at 4.5 inches. And I'm going to make 2 4.5-inch squares to go behind my fish pieces. You'll see. It's just something I kind of thought might look really neat to have this wavy look behind it, mimicking what we've done with our paper on our decorative trimmers. So there's our 2 4.5-inch squares for that. And now let's go ahead and start to put our pages together here. Grab up all my pieces that I've cut here, put it to the side, grab my sketch again so I know where I'm kind of going into the ballpark here. Here we go. So with our smaller piece that we put on the trimmer, so remember these 2 larger pieces were the pieces we cut afterwards. We're kind of fanning them down so that way they run down kind of 1.5 inches or so off the edge. You can pull out your trimmer if you want. We're going to take the 2 larger pieces and kind of put them back to back. Let me grab my tape runner here. And here we go. And then this is kind of where our hexagons are going to run from. But I just thought, you know what, let's go ahead and use this other scrap right away. There's no point in saving it for a rainy day. Use what you got. Like I said, I know I really dislike having all the scraps piling up all over the place anyways. So let's use what we have. We cut the sheet. Let's make a use of what we have. Here to go. And then I'm going to kind of go eyeball it again here. You can, like I said, pull out your 13 by 13 cutting mat and get things so that way it's an exact mirror image. I do like symmetry, but I just figured let's go ahead and put this together here. I'm a little bit crooked, so I am going to have to grab out my multi-purpose tool and get this one straightened out a little bit. Okay, here we go. So there's that. That looks better. That's straight. That's straight. Ah, there we go. Okay. So much for that. Now we are going to add our hexagons, and we're going to add them along the outside here. My main hexagon is this complementary blue. So I have, let's see, 3 there and 3 here. Maybe a couple more. We're just going to kind of arrange them. And then I also have a couple of partials as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and start sticking them along here. And then I'm going to accent with some of the others that I've punched as well. And of course, I could use this other side as well, but I really liked the idea of kind of keeping this page in the green hues a bit. So you do with your page what you want to do. love that you can see the texture from the hexagon with this punch on the page here. Let's put this one out a little bit. There we go. And then I've got the blue fish that I'm going to divide. I've got a couple of each of these. And I'm just randomly placing things as I go along here. Oops, uh-oh, I put the tape on the wrong side of that one. I'll take care of that later. Let me just flip this one and keep going. If it was repositionable, I'd rub it off with my finger, but since it's not, I'm just going to wait to put that one down later. Ah, the fun of being live. So I pulled some of the other fish paper that has a little bit of extra color to it. Where do we think we want this one? Maybe down there. And we'll put an extra one on this side since we lost the other blue fish. Maybe we'll put that one there. Kind of working its way out a bit. There we go. And then I have a few partials that when I went to punch, of course, I was using my scraps. And I thought, well, maybe we'll find a place for some of these in the design. Because why throw them away when you can just work them in and make it look intentional as part of our layout here. In fact, I think I might piece those two together. And I'll piece this one down here, kind of off of that one. There's our other fish. Maybe that can go up here, and this can go over here where we have a little extra space as well. So there we go. We've got hexagons instead of the circles. And let's go ahead and place our larger mats, which were our yellow fish. And I kind of want those going across our page here. And I'm going to also grab my vellum tape runner. I kind of want my waves going across underneath where these little fish are to highlight my mat here. So let's do this way. I guess actually the vellum probably belongs on top, but I'm using underneath just to create an extra shadow on my sheet here. And our tape runner, you can see, you really can't see it once I put it on the vellum. There you go. You can see it when I put it up to the light there, but let's see when I flip this over. There. You can't see where the tape is on there once I put it on and flip it. But I did want mine to kind of appear sort of adding movement to my page since we went to the trouble of cutting all of these waves. In fact, I think I might, no, let's go ahead and put this one this way. And then we have space more for this one to kind of be a little bit more offset, a little bit like in the picture. And this is going to be offset as well. And here we go. And it's okay if you cover up some of your hexagons. Not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and use this vellum tape runner again, just to make sure I get it stuck down. So that way, if I went outside of behind my paper, you can still see the paper. You can still see the hexagons under it. I will hold it up to the camera so you all can see it in a moment. And on this one, I might actually reverse this a little. I am. So this way, when we add our photos, we'll have some extra interest as well to our page. Here we go. And let's get this one down. To keep track of which tape runner I need to use for what here. Keeping me on my toes. Okay, so there's our 2-page spread. We now have some, I pulled a couple of embellishments. I wasn't sure what I would be able to fit because you kind of want the hexagons to show through a bit. And I don't think it makes sense to have that actual extra fish on there. but we can add a couple of these and maybe some bubbles from our sticker set. So this way I can use this kind of as a title box. Actually, nope, that won't fit there. Thought about turning it, but we can actually still use this as a title box. And I'm going to stick that down here. I'm going to pop up my Rivers Know This, There Is No Hurry. We shall get there someday sticker down here, because we do have kind of a flowy, wavy effect to our page. I wanted to keep it with some movement on it, and our pictures are definitely going to pop once I put them on. Here's that one. And then we're going to add some bubbles as well. And the reason I kind of picked the bubbles was because they are this color of what we have on our sheet, and then it also can draw attention to our hexagons as well. So I guess I did add some circles to my page as well here, if you want to count these bubbles as some circles. So there's some there. I'm going to add a couple over here as well, going up a bit. There we go. So we have our bubbles. We have our fish. We have, I think, finished our page. I almost feel like I need a little something up here too. So I've got some more bubbles. I'm just going to throw a couple more up here. There we go. Our page is done. I will hold it up to the camera for you. So here again was our sketch. Here is our left side of the page, complete with extra bubbles and our title box. One of these squares later can also be used for a journal box. And here is our right side of the page. So I hope you all enjoyed seeing sketch number 4 done, creating a 2-page spread out of it, and hopefully I didn't go too quick for y'all, but you can always watch it again and see me create it again, watch what the cuts were, to be able to put together this sketch number 4 using Serene Waters. And I will be back with sketch number 5 in just a little bit. Until next time.